Walking around this neighbourhood, I can tell there are two different types of people. There are those that have the time and the inclination to look after their lawn, and then there's this. I mean, look, these are really difficult growing conditions, let's be honest. We've got this fantastic tree, it looks amazing, but it causes a lot of shade, causes a lot of compaction, and it sucks a lot of water and nutrients out of the soil. The owners here have had a go at putting down some lawn. They've tried to lay some grass, but it's never going to succeed. Just because they can't have lawn, though, doesn't mean they can't have grass. First things first, we need to dig up the old grass. Don't feel bad about this. Lawn is really high maintenance. You've got to aerate it, you've got to water it, you've got to feed it. On top of that, you've got all the maintenance. You've got to mow it and do the edging and look after all the machinery that looks after all that. So by getting rid of this grass, we're going to have something that's low maintenance and good looking. Oh, it's no wonder this grass didn't succeed. It just hasn't taken root, and that's because the soil preparation wasn't done properly. It's just too compacted here. The roots just can't get in. When you're removing the grass, though, it's important to spend a bit of time to get every little bit out. This will just save you time and effort in the long run. You've got to remember, this is going to be a low-maintenance garden, so a bit of effort now is well worth it. Our next step is to give the ground a really good fork through. This is actually the most physical part of this whole job. What we're doing, though, is we're decompacting the soil. That's going to allow rainwater and irrigation down to the new roots of the plants, and it's going to allow our plants to establish really quickly. Because it's nice and fluffy now, all the new roots can just penetrate out into the soil. You want to go quite deep to the depth of the fork and just give it a good old reef back, knocking through any big bits of soil. If you do find a structural root, though, like I have just here, you just want to fork the top of the soil, remember where it is, map it out so you don't plant on top of it. Before you put any plants in the ground, you should always improve the soil. We're using a premium garden mix. This is enriched with compost. You could use straight compost if you wanted. I'm going to spread this over the top. It's going to enrich the soil and make it easier to plant. I am building the soil up a little bit around this tree, but I'm not too concerned. It's used to growing in a swamp, so having a bit more soil on top isn't going to be a problem. I am going to leave it pulled back away from the base of the tree, though, because I don't want that to rot. We've got rid of the lawn, and I did promise you grasses. And here they are. We're going for 5 different varieties, and we're going to be planting them in different clumps and drifts. This one's called Pennisetum Nefray. It's going to get the tallest, so I'm going to start with that. I'm going to place it out, plant that one in, and then work down to the rest. The next plants in our tapestry of grasses are these fantastic poas. This is a variety called Eskdale. It's got a slight blue tinge to it, which is going to make it just subtly different from the Pennisetums that we've got. It's a medium-sized grass, like the Pennisetum is, and I'm planting it quite densely. So when it gets up, it's not going to flop over, it's going to stay nice and erect. To finish off our garden of grasses, I'm using a couple of small lomandras. They're in the same colour as the larger ones. We've got a blue one and a green one. The larger ones tend to move around more in the wind, whereas these, they've got a bit more of a static, upright habit, so they're going to stay nice and rigid for us. I'm planting them with some scissor shovels. Now, there's a tip with these. They do tend to make your hole quite hard-sided, so just to fluff up the edges, and then it's good to go. All of these plants cost a couple of $100 more than laying out turf. But think about it. You don't have to pay for any mowers, you don't have to pay for any whippersnippers, no tool maintenance, and the best part is you get your Saturday mornings back. Although our grasses are incredibly hardy, it's a good idea to apply a layer of mulch. Now, this slows water into the soil, so it's more effective. It also helps to lock it in when it gets hot. I've selected something that's high in organic matter. That way it's going to break down and give these grasses all the food they need. Our garden of grasses looks great and also ticks a lot of boxes. It's low maintenance, it needs hardly any additional water and no fertilising. Like our tree, all our grasses are native, so it's great for local fauna too. Now it's about time we rethought the Great Australian Lawn and planted some great Australian grasses.